Hello. Oh, this is kind of sad. I think that this is like the second last or last tutorial that I'll film in this room. I thought that for the last video that I film in this room, that a Q&A might be nice, and loads of you guys asked some brilliant questions, so I'm just going to get started. I'm not going to touch on what makeup I'm using throughout the tutorial, but I will link everything that I use below. Okay, so I've screenshotted a bunch of questions. I've got 23 here. I could have picked 100, honestly, there were so many great questions. And I guess we'll just go through in order. I will mention that I am using the new Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum brushes. I thought, what a brilliant time to get gifted some lovely brushes, because I'm just going to use these until we move, and it means that I can clean the rest of my brushes and get them packed, and I'm just going to be working from these, so I'm really excited to try them. Katie Jane Hughes is an amazing makeup artist if you don't know her already, so I just know that these brushes are going to be great. I've done all my skin prep as well. First question is, do you think the new house will be the house that you have babies in? I really, really hope so. You never know your path, you never know your journey with these things. All going well, we're going to be in this next house for a really, really long time. That would be really great. It's a part of our lives that we're really, really looking forward to. When we went to see the house, it was like one of the things that we were obviously thinking about when we were looking at the area and the layout of the house and how the house was. And it would be such an amazing house to grow up in. Like, I just know that would be great. Next question, will you always live in Scotland? I will be so sad if you move away. I'm pretty sure that we will always live in Scotland. I've mentioned before that me and Jack toyed with the idea at one point of moving to the States. We briefly spoke about moving down south as well. Again, it was a super brief conversation. I actually don't even know how we got talking about it, but we did at one point wonder about moving down to London. We completely changed our mind. We just don't want to move. Really love it up here. The only thing that I don't love about Scotland is the weather. Especially this last winter has felt really difficult because of lockdown and stuff, and it's made me realise that weather has a huge impact on my mood. When it's sunny, like it's sunny today, and I literally woke up and I was like, oh, I feel great. That's the only thing, that's literally the only drawback of living in Scotland, is that we get like pretty horrendous weather, I would say. I'm doing quite a light base today because I am just so pale. I literally cannot wear my usual shade of foundation or anything at the moment. Will you be renovating the new house? Any big jobs? Love you guys and good luck. Thank you very much. The house that we're in at the moment, at some points I had like big ideas on how we would like to renovate, but by the time that we got round to when we would start doing that, we'd realised that we were going to move again. So we kind of put those plans on hold. The new house, big ideas. I guess we'll have to wait and see when we get in. I mean, weirdly, like we've only seen the house one time. And I remember it was the 1st of December. Everything happened super quickly. Like we went to see the house that night. We phoned saying that we wanted it. And by the end of that day, we had an offer accepted. So it was literally really quick. And I think the 1st of December, I think was a Monday or a Tuesday. And I'd seen the house on a Saturday, I think. Ever since we got the house, I have spent so many hours poring over the images online, the floor plan, and I have been absolutely addicted to Pinterest. I have been Pinteresting my life away. It's actually I highly recommend getting into Pinterest because it's such like a nice relaxing thing to do. It's so good. There is one big job that I would like to get done sooner rather than later. Like hopefully, I mean, see if we had it done by June, I would be over the moon, but that feels a wee bit unrealistic to me at the moment. And it is to do with the kitchen and just slightly changing, like there's a wall with 2 windows that I would love to get turned into one big like window with patio doors and get decking built. But when we move, I'll show you all that. But it makes me really excited. And we've got like an attic room that I would love to change the windows. They actually need changed. Like we need to change the windows that are currently in it. So that's another fun thing. And instead of replacing the windows with something that's super similar, I would like to kind of change it up a little bit. Next question, will the new house be your forever home? I really, really hope so. I think that this year has taught us that nothing's definite. Loads of stuff could happen. What I'm projecting for our future is that we're going to be there until we're old. That's what would make me really, really happy. I would love to have children in that house. I'd love to have a family. Yeah, I can just see us being there for a really long time. And I think with the plans that we've got for the house, it would just make such a gorgeous family home for us. And I really, really, really hope so. I'm just going to use one Smith brush just because I'm so used to it and I love it for my bronzer. What will you miss most about your old house? They say that when you're selling your house, you'll never love it more than when you're selling it, because obviously you put the effort in, you make it look gorgeous. And for example, like one of the rooms that we never really used the whole time that we've lived here was the conservatory. Jack always just had his gym equipment in there. It was always the room that we would go through to go outside with the dogs, and it just wasn't used. And then we brought in the outside furniture, we like dressed the room, and I'm never out of there. We put a lot of work into certain parts of this house. We've really made it our own, and I'll just miss it. A huge part of what I'll miss about up here is the fact that we're in the countryside. There are so many really nice walks around here. Like, I think we've done the same walk with the dogs every New Year for like 3 years, and it's just such a nice tradition, and I will miss it. Hardest part of moving for me personally, it is juggling everything. I mean, I don't know who thought it was a good idea to launch a brand and then move like a few months after. Unfortunately, like I'm not one of these people that can put in time off. I mean, I've managed to like move around a few meetings, but ideally I would have taken off like a 2-week holiday with nothing to do but move. But realistically, we can't do that. You know, we want to vlog everything, we want to document it like we always do, but that is actually still work at the end of the day. So I would say that juggling everything has been difficult. I know that we'll get there. Whenever I think that something feels difficult, I always just think, you know, in a month's time, I'll have done it and it'll be fine. And that's kind of like how I keep myself going. I'm going to sit my face. While we're waiting for my face to dry, I love this question. What's your interior inspo for the new house? So, like I said, I've been addicted to Pinterest. I feel like I have very conflicting style choices. I really love dark, moody, quite sexy decor, but I also love really light and breezy and, you know, quite a calm space. I would hate if my whole house was really, really dark and moody because it would feel quite intrusive maybe. Whereas I like a lot of white space, but I think I'm just going to do both. There's no rules that you can't do both, right? So like we've got a dining room that I think would look amazing, like a super dark bottle green. But our living room, I really want something kind of like a concrete finish wall. Like I think the dining room being dark, maybe even the kitchen being dark, but I want the living room to be really bright and airy and our bedroom to be bright and airy. But when it comes to decor, I don't mind each room being quite different. It literally makes my stomach flip with excitement, the idea of being able to decorate a house that we're going to be in for a really long time. Which again, it just makes me really want to take our time. Like one thing that I'm not doing this time is buying furniture for the sake of it. I would rather have nothing and slowly build my collection of things that I really love. I was talking to a friend who was saying, you know, auction websites are your best friends. It's going to be different. All this stuff's going to be quite different and you're going to have to wait for things to come online. So I'm really happy doing that. And we kind of did that with this house as well. You know, we didn't have anything when we moved in here. And we slowly built stuff up, but we got a lot of furniture from like IKEA, which is stuff that just doesn't last. It doesn't, like my work desk in front of me is so chipped and done in, whereas maybe I'll invest in something that's going to actually last like 20 years. Like furniture can last up to 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. If it's made beautifully, then it'll last you. And I think that I'm a big believer in that with everything in my life. Like my clothes, I would rather invest a little bit more in something that's really good quality than buy something that's going to break. I'm doing this makeup in a really funny order. What has kept you motivated during lockdown? I feel like The first lockdown, it was nice weather. We were really busy with Vive before launch. We filmed that programme with the BBC, which was like a full-time job for 6 weeks. We were so busy with that. And then the second lockdown, I think that came into effect just after the launch of Vive, or just when Vive was launched, I can't remember. But what I do remember was I was just so busy and I didn't have time to think about it. Another thing that's really strange is I am used to working at home and I'm used to being quite isolated, but I like the choice, like choosing to stay at home and work rather than it being enforced, I guess. So there's some parts of this experience that I suppose I was a bit prepared for. I'm used to working by myself. I'm used to, not having a team around me all the time. There was weirdly some parts of it that were okay. I've definitely struggled the most this last lockdown over winter. I think it started on Boxing Day. I've just been upset. I've been upset and sad. I spoke about it in a vlog recently, and I think it's really important that you know that and I'm literally just saying this because people have said it to me and it made me feel a lot better, that your feelings during this time are so valid no matter who you are or what you're up to. If you've managed to keep your job through lockdown, if you excelled in lockdown. I know a lot of people that have done really good through lockdown. They've saved money, they've bought houses, they've got married still, they've got engaged. There's people that have maybe had an easier time and there's people that have not had an easy time at all. But regardless of that, it's okay that you don't feel okay at the moment. It would be nuts if you felt fine. But motivated wise, I guess honestly I've had no choice but to keep going. And there's some weeks that are harder than others, but ultimately I think just knowing that one day things will be better is what's keeping me going. This is an easy question. What was you and Jack's first dance song at your wedding? So our first dance song was Harvest Moon by Neil Young, and there is a little video actually I just shared on, I think it was on Valentine's Day actually. Cliche. I'll pop it on the screen now while I tap this on. It was so nice. We really loved it. And every time I hear it, it makes my heart sing. First big plan for the new house. So I did mention that we've got a couple of renovation plans, but I think the first thing that needs done pretty quick is I need my makeup room painted white and I need my office painted white, just so we can get back to work. I guess we're doing smoky eyes today. I feel like I want to go quite grungy with this though. I always love that. See, when I've got my hair all slicked back like this, I do love a really grungy eye makeup. Next question is, could you see yourself getting another dog? No. No. The step from having one dog, especially a really good dog like Drogba, to having two dogs and one of them being a bit of a psycho, is a bit nuts. And it changes a lot, having two dogs, everything's honestly twice as much work, I guess, walking them. We used to be able to take Drogs for the easiest walks anywhere, but Juno, which I've mentioned before, she's not the best dog with other dogs. We've tried with her training, but I think we need some professional help. So that's one of the first things that we're going to do when we move house, is get a behaviourist out to work with Juno and how she is with other dogs, because there's a lot of fun stuff that we can't do with the dogs because Juno is so nervous. She's not a bad dog, she's just so nervous. It's a shame, honestly. It actually breaks my heart. I think about it every day and it makes me so sad, and I think it's honestly our fault. I think that it's our fault for not making sure that we were socialising her through lockdown, but it was such a funny thing about the rules. We didn't know if we were allowed to get in the car and take Juno to the park. There were certain times that they were you can exercise but you can't leave your house. You can exercise but you can't get in the car and drive anywhere. So through lockdown, Juno had just no socialisation with other dogs, and we think that that's what's made it so bad. We're going to work on that, but definitely not 3 German Shepherds anyway. I honestly don't know what we would do. People who influence your style, makeup and lifestyle. Okay, so I've definitely got a few favourite accounts. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I've mentioned her a lot recently, but the Anna edit is so inspiring to me for organisation. I would say that she's quite minimal with the way that she is with all her things. She's got a really small amount of makeup. She's got a really edited down, oh god, get it? Anna edit. She's got an edited down wardrobe, which I really was inspired by. I just think she's great. Another person who makes me dead happy to watch is Alana Davidson. Alana Rama on Instagram. I just love her. Makeup wise, oh my god, the Brooks brother on Instagram is spectacular. I remember the first time that he wore Vive, I completely freaked out. I speak about him all the time to the team. I'm just obsessed with him. There's loads of people. There's so many people. And I actually made such a conscious effort recently to really edit down who I watch. I like this brush. It's like a really flat little guy. Oh yeah, see this? I was kind of overdue to do something a little bit different, wasn't I? And sometimes if I find someone that I really love their style, I'll go and see who they follow. And I usually find other really great people. Little tip on how to navigate social media. Key to blocking out the haters / not caring about what people think about you and your actions. Right at the start of when I did this job, I would get surprised when someone would say something like negative, because it's just something that I wouldn't have thought of. Like, I think one thing that I used to get a lot of, not as much now, but I used to a lot when I was a bit younger, was comments about my lips because of my lip filler. And also I just have like I've got a chubby face naturally, and I just didn't think about it until people said it to me. They'd be like, that, you've got a chubby face. And I'd be like, what? Do I really hadn't thought about it. So that was a weird thing to get used to. I just think it's so rude to pass comment on what other people look like. Like, that's something that you sometimes can't change. Sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't change that. Yeah, stuff like that was difficult. When it comes to God, there's so many things that make it a bit easier, and it's thinking about it like, if someone doesn't know me, then why would I care about what they've got to say about me? They don't know me, so it doesn't really matter. A lot of people say, and rightly so, they say that the only people that I care about what they think of me is like my family, my friends that really, really know me. And I think that's a great thing to remember. Also, I remember I had an epiphany, and it wasn't that long ago. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, oh my god, imagine I let the opinion of a stranger affect what I do in my life and what I want to achieve and what I like strive to accomplish and what I really want to do with my life. Imagine I let the opinion of a stranger, someone that I don't know, someone that really doesn't know me either, imagine I let that affect me in any way. That's nuts when you think about it, isn't it? Easier said than done, and I think it really does depend on your headspace at that time. If you are feeling fragile, then it is so much easier to let those things get to you. But if you try and just see it as being so ridiculous, because it is ridiculous, then it helps a lot. You know, see, by making fun of it and being like that, look how ridiculous it is for you to pass judgment. I would hope that, you know, one of those judgmental people would hear that and be like, oh my god, I am being ridiculous. Like, why do I care so much about this person I don't know? I feel like we've built a really gorgeous community of people that care about each other and care about each other's well-being. Normal people, just really normal people, but there of course is always going to be someone. There's always going to be someone that has something to say. This is my first time using this mascara, and it is good. It's the Benefit They're Real Magnet. Wow. Morgan, who I recognise your name, Morgan, because we talk on Instagram DM all the time. Morgan does some really beautiful looks using Vive as well. I love her makeup. Morgan says, where do you get all your jewellery? I feel like that should be a video on its own, to be fair. Now, if it's something that you guys really want me to do, I will do it. So let me know. As an overall, I would say that I mostly get my jewellery when I'm travelling. It's my favourite thing to go into jewellers and, you know, little jewellery boutiques in different countries to see what kind of jewellery that they sell. Most of my jewellery is gold. This is not. Imagine that was real gold. And I do see it as an investment. You can always sell jewellery, same as like watches and stuff like that. I've not done anything to my lower lashes yet, but I think that I will, you know. Okay, next question while I glue up my lashes. What are your plans for the next beauty room? I'm absolutely over the moon at the next beauty room, and I know that you guys are going to love it. So it's bigger. There's more light that comes in. There's bigger windows. I was thinking about storage, and I know that some people get custom storage built, but I'm going to do the IKEA packs thing again. I've learned a lot with this setup that I've done that I am going to change up slightly, but it just makes me really excited. So it's going to be part makeup room and part dressing room, which is cool. Like I said, it's going to have more space, so I will have my beauty room with all my makeup and like my most favourite clothes, like a dressing room type thing. It'll also have my filming area for filming videos like this. But one thing that is not good about this room is the crossover between, you know, my stuff and Vive. So quite a lot of the time this room, which is a bit of like a haven to me, ends up so cluttered with paperwork, samples. It can get quite wild and quite overwhelming. But in the new house, we're going to really split it up. So when I come up to my makeup room, it is a really peaceful, tranquil place. All like my favourite stuff, and it's just like a completely fresh space for my brain, because sometimes I find it hard to film when I'm covered in clutter, but at the moment I don't have a choice. I do have the start of a plan, but obviously we're not in the house yet, so I need to exactly like measure out how the dynamic will work, but I'll pop it on the screen. But with the packed system that I used in this room, you can go on IKEA and put the dimensions of your room in and essentially customise and build your storage. So there's a little sneak peek for you. I'm not finished, but I really like the way it's looking. Do you recognise people / usernames who interact regularly on Instagram, etc.? Yes, I do. And I recognise your name, MJ Makeup. And there's a couple of names that I see all the time that I know that I've seen for years and years. Especially like people that comment on your photo every time. Like it is... Instagram honestly is a weird place at the moment, and it's quite difficult. I know that a lot of new creators are finding it really difficult to grow. It's a tricky platform at the moment, and YouTube's better, but again, not 100%. I do think that they're making it really difficult for new creators, which I think is really a shame. But I feel like even creators that have been doing it for a long time are feeling it a little bit. So it makes it even more special when you see the same names constantly supporting, because it does make a huge difference. So yes, I definitely do recognise. Next question, you make having a German Shepherd look easy. How? Honestly, Drogba is an easy dog. He is such a good dog. I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that when we had Drogba, we lived in a flat which had loads of other people, and we were living across from a park, so we would take him to the park every day. As soon as he was old enough and we trusted him, we would have him off his lead. He was playing with other dogs. He's just like an easy dog. And do you know what's such a shame is Juno is the perfect dog in the house. She is so perfect. She is so sweet. She barks a lot, but I mean, dogs bark, what do you expect? But she is the sweetest dog. If you've seen my Instagram stories, I take like a video or a picture of her most mornings because I wake up and she's just here. She's the sweetest dog, out and about. Not great. And all you want to do is be able to take your dog on nice walks, and it's sad when you can't. So I would definitely say we had it easy with Drogba, but Juno's different. But I'm excited about getting her the help that she needs to be more confident on her walks and to not be so scared of other dogs. I really like this question. Do you believe everything happens for a reason? I really do, and I think that it's not always a good thing. Like it doesn't always feel like a good thing. I feel like if something that you're really looking forward to goes pear-shaped, it is for a reason. I think that if something doesn't work out with someone else in a relationship, then again, it's for a reason. Like meeting someone, if two people hadn't been at the same place at the same time, they wouldn't have met and been best friends or got married. Like I think that there's all different spectrums, but I definitely do think everything happens for a reason. And see, when you believe that, it makes things so much easier when they do go a bit pear-shaped. You're like, it wasn't for me. It was not for me, and that's fine. And something better is going to come along. Maybe I should have done these in order because we're kind of jumping about the subject a little bit. What lessons did you learn about furnishing your home that you'll take to the new house? So I briefly touched on it, but taking your time, don't feel the pressure to get it done. Like I've seen houses get renovated in the space of like weeks. Don't feel like you need to do that. No way. I think it's really good to move into a space and really suss out what do you love about that space? How do you want to make the most of that space? Really figure out your decor as well. Like at one point, for example, I was so excited to get almost like grey wooden floors throughout this whole house. But I really sat back and I thought about it and I was like, is that going to stand the test of time, or is that just like trendy right now? And right enough, I think that dark wood floors are a little bit more classic. Yeah, so I think just taking your time, don't feel the pressure. Like, I know for a fact that we're going to live in a bit of a state for a while, but I'm excited about it. I think it'll be fun. Also, don't be like shy to look at eBay and Gumtree and auctions. Second-hand stuff, you can get it a lot cheaper than brand new. Our dining table from this in this house is from eBay. Like, I just think, shop about. What's a business you'd love to open? I have a bit of a passion for cafe food. I love a good toasty, I love a good baked potato, I love a good sandwich, I love a good fry up, I love a good roll. How cool would it be to open up a cafe? Maybe I will in later life. I mean, I can't cook, so I'd have to, maybe I'd just be the boss. I would set the menu and then I'd get someone else to cook the food. Let me start my lips. I'm very aware that this has taken me a million years. Oh my god, I've not done a makeup look like this in so long. And the last question is, where do you see/want Vive to be in 5 years? I always loved working on a makeup counter so much. I miss doing makeup on other people a lot, and at the start of this pandemic I was planning on doing makeup on other people a lot more. Obviously I'm not allowed at the moment, which is really shit. But as soon as I am, I can't wait to start doing makeup on models again. I can't wait to have Vive, in the flesh for people. I really want Vive to be all over the world. I would love to go to Australia with Vive. I would love to go to the States, Italy. I don't know why Italy so much. When me and Jack were there last, we were walking down like one of the busiest shopping streets in Florence, and there was a unit to let. And I said to Jack, I was like, how cool would it be if like Vive had a pop-up there so anyone can come and actually try the products, and I would be there with my brush belt on, ready to, be the makeup counter girl. I don't know. I think in 5 years we'll have so many amazing products out. We've got a really good plan for this year as well, which I'm so excited to share with you. One of like the most popular questions was if you could get a sneak peek, and all I'll say is maybe I used some unreleased products on my face here today. Exciting. So that is the finished look. I hope you really liked it. Definitely old school Jamie G. We went today. I mean, these wings just kind of took over. They did their own thing. I'm so excited to be starting a new chapter. I can't wait. It's going to be great. And I was super buzzing at the start of this makeup tutorial, but by the end of it, talking about the house, I actually feel just a wee bit like emosh. I mean, everyone's emosh at the moment. It's all good things. Excited about brighter times ahead of us all. Thank you for hanging out with me today while you listen to me ramble on. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! People who style... No, that's not what it says. Drub will miss this house. It's going to bronze while they bark. Next question. Could you see yourself getting I think that my castor oil is giving me a spot in my eyelid. One of the most... Oh god, I don't even put my hips in. Sorry, I cannot talk while I do this. I need to sit up straight. That's so annoying. Sorry if you hear the birds outside. They're going for it today. How am I meant to make birds be quiet? What? Actually, they're being so loud.